Hello, everyone. Welcome to this latest edition of the Michigan State Spartans Insider Podcast. I'm your beat reporter for Michigan State Spartans on SI, Aiden Champion. To my Star Wars fans out there, may the fourth be with you. And My Tigers fans out there, the other side, go Tigers. What a great start to the year they have had. They are just on fire lately. Been loving it because it is baseball season right now. Got football and basketball both in the off seasons and kind of at a kind of a dead point. I mean, there's traction going on with um, transfer portal leftovers and whatnot, but not a whole lot to discuss regarding Michigan State. But that means it's the point of the off season for speculation, for reflection, for you name it, in terms of all the hypotheticals and um, anything to get fans remotely hopeful for what's to come. And with that, I told you yesterday, we're going to start discussing different position groups for Michigan State football. We started with the O line yesterday, a group I thought is going to take a turn for the better. Today, we'll look at the wide receiver room, another room, probably Michigan State's most um, improved, revamped room. And I know fans are very excited about this room. Number one being Nick Marsh. You know, he was pleasant surprise last year. I mean, I think fans have been hopeful about him coming into the year, but didn't really expect him to reach that level that he had last year, putting the nation on notice, putting mostly the Big Ten on notice with what he was able to do. And I think the future is tremendously bright for Nick Marsh, and I know fans are very hopeful about um, what he and Aiden Childs could do together this coming season and potentially down the road after that. But Nick Marsh, he is really going to be the playmaker for this offense this year, aside from Childs. And the expectations are through the roof for this guy, and the staff is high on him. It was, fans should feel encouraged about what wide receiver coach Courtney Hawkins had to say during spring camp about, the improvement he's seen, as particularly with his confidence and wisdom, his wanting to learn as a student of the game. Said he's, asking more or deeper questions, in the meeting rooms and whatnot. And, that's huge for a guy who's going into year two, who has been exposed now, who has found success at the collegiate level, Power Four level as a freshman, and now he wants to take that next step. He knows he has to. He knows he's probably going to be the guy in this wide receiver room, and he's going to be called upon, and um, he's going to have to be ready for that. And I think he's trying to put himself in a position where he can be. Michigan State, obviously, things were looking pretty grim back in the winter when they had lost Montori Foster, Jaron Glover, Isaiah Johnson. I mean, you're right there. You're looking at three of your top five receiving leaders from last year. And if you include Nate Carter and Karen Lynch Adams, that's five of your top seven. So they really, wide receiver room was a huge point of emphasis. And Michigan State really answered the call with who they're able to bring in, um, the amount of guys they're able to bring in. You're looking at three guys who were first team all conference honorees at their former schools. Um, Start with Krishan McCray. They call him Big Play McCray. And I think this guy is going to be great for Michigan State this season. Um, was excellent at Kent State. 703 receiving yards last year and 610 the year before. This guy, um, makes plays on the ball. He is able to go up and come down with it in traffic, and I think that's going to be huge. For a team that needs every bit of help it can get in terms of the pass game. Um, and I for one, am very much looking forward to seeing what McCray is going to do next year. Probably more so than any other guy in that receiving room. And then Omari Kelly from Middle Tennessee State. Um, you know, he was guy 769 receiving yards last year. Was all conference, first team all conference, second team all conference as a punt returner. And I think, he's a very underrated addition to this room. Probably going to be your wide receiver three. And what I think, people here in Middle Tennessee State, one, they think of basketball, of course, but just the fact that, not a big school and doesn't really stand out, but this guy also before that was at Auburn. So he has experience playing at the SEC level. So he's got experience playing at um, an elite level, and I think, you know, um, I really think he's an underrated asset to this room. You look at Rodney Bullard Jr., um, another guy from a smaller school, but had a huge year last year for Valdosta State, helped lead them to the FCS or the Division Two state championship. Um, First team All South Conference. Um, he had over 1,000 receiving yards. I mean, you can interchange him with Omari Kelly at wide receiver three. I'm not saying these are that like McCray is um, your lock at wide receiver two, but you know um, you got you got several options here, and that's big for Aiden Childs, who now there's no excuses. Okay, you've got plenty of weapons now. You got Nick Marsh, your guy from last year, and your these three newcomers. Got Jack Velling, who better than any of those other guys. Played with him obviously at Oregon State as well. You got Alante Brown, who will be coming back, and I think that's huge. Um, going to need to be a leader for this team, and I mean, there's no reason that this passing game shouldn't be able to thrive next year. I think it will depend on the offensive line, which, like I said last episode, I think they are going to be much improved. I like the names that they brought in a lot. Um, and I trust in Coach McCulchick, but it is, pressure is going to be on them. And then a lot of pressure is going to be on Aiden Childs. We're going to see if he kind of takes that next level of growth from a maturity standpoint, along with his playing ability. Because for a quarterback, that's That's about as important as anything is what's going on in here. And, from what everyone's been saying, as far as coaches, as far as players, I think this offense knows what it needs to do to be successful, and I think they have been working hard to make sure it happens. So I am very much excited about this wide receiver room and what we're going to see. I know fans are. It's one of their deepest rooms on the team, and it's going to be fun to watch because you got so many guys who can make plays, so many guys you can get the ball to, and um, like I said, no excuses. You Aiden Chaz has all of his weapons right there. You got a star in the making with Nick Marsh. It's time to get going. Time to roll. So, with all that said, thank you everyone once again for tuning in. Hope you all had a great weekend, and I hope you have a great coming week. Thanks.